Okay, and to get this light color over here, we'll use a lot of water. You can actually just use a clear brush, fill in these little petals with some water, and take a little bit of a light green is what I used, and just kind of tap that in here. I'm going to add a little bit of a brightness to it here. Okay, and I can add in a little pop. It's a little bit bright, so I'll tone that down by just tapping my paper. Wasn't the exact shade that I wanted, so I'd like to go in and kind of redo that a little. See, I took that away, and now the color I wasn't happy with goes away. And I'm kind of making that up as I go, these little dots, and let me get some greenery there. Wipe my brush off, and I'm going to paint this leaf here with my leaf green color. Tone it down a little bit, adding a little bit of brown there. Do the same thing here. And for the sake of time, I am going kind of quickly, so if you want yours to be more perfect, then you want to take the time to let it dry and do more layers. But for the sake of getting the gist of how to get these colors down, this is going to be really helpful to you. And get this here, this long leaf coming down. I'm going to delineate that by adding a little bit of a darker color here and pointing that. If you ever mess up, you can always just either delete that like I showed you with a paper towel, clear brush, goes away, or you can just do a pencil line and add something to your drawing so that you're happy with it. This lime green is kind of finicky, so you have to add a lot of layers to it from my palette. Actually, I'm going to go in first and do this background. That'll be easier for me to go in and do that first. So come in and go around each one really quickly here. And that's easier for me to do than to have to go around it once it's already painted so that it doesn't pick up any of my little buds with seeds there. And I'm going to take a little bit of this now and kind of go around that leaf a bit. And just add another layer here. Okay. So while I'm letting that dry, I'll go down here to the water where I've mixed up this paint and kind of leaving a little bit of white space. I'm actually going to just paint the majority of this, and I'll go over with the green stems in a bit. Or you can do the green stems first and even go over that with your water color, it'll kind of bleed a little bit because it's wet, but we've got some basic green going on, so it'll look like it's got nice layers to it. Going back over it with the water, and you can leave white at the paper if you need to pull some of it back. You can do that. And now just add a little bit of that darker blue in there. And I can come back to that later and finish that up. I've got the first layer down. Oops, I forgot some over here. Some of the water. And get some of that greenery in. And now I can start working on my flowers. Be careful not to put my hand into my painting. I picked this kind of corally color, and you can pick whatever you'd like. I'm going to go in here and start painting the darker of these folds. Let's see the best place to come in and get some dimension in here. Now I'll go around the outside. I did put my hand in that, but I'm not going to spread it around my paper. Kind of this orangey coral color. And I'll clear my brush and start to move some of that paint that I already have down around. Go back in and deposit a little bit more paint. So that it's all covered, and I can go and finesse that later. So now I'm moving on to the next one. And now for these little guys, could really cover over that centerpiece because I'll be going over it with a darker color, so I don't have to be as meticulous. And you can always plan your colors out ahead of time. This is a little bit different than my original drawing. So when you have this strip here, you can always plan your colors out to make sure you're happy ahead of beginning to paint. And I'm going to go back in and kind of delineate these centers here. Now that it's dried a little bit. And I'm going to go and get these stems. And this leaf looks a little saturated. I'm going to put some of the highlights back in. Spread them around. And I'll pop in a little bit over here. The more time you take, the more that realistic this will look as you enter in more layers and leave white of the paper so that you can keep that definition. You can also then take some metallics and add that to some of the leaves to really give it a nice little fun shine. When people see my original, they love it that it's got a little bit of this metallic that pops in the light.